are live.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, family of the Rock Newman Show 2.0. I come to you today continuing our programming where we are dealing with literally our survival as a people. Needless to say, there are extraordinary problems in our society and in our community. Too many to name. Too many to name. Yeah, start anywhere. Stuff that's been in the news lately: police brutality. You know, a uh, a diabolical attempt by a Florida governor and his sycophants around the country to try to ultimately write Black history out of school curriculums throughout the USA. We could go on and on and on. I've heard my guest here today say something, and that is that if we kill ourselves by the way that we have been consuming food of what he calls SAD, the standard American diet, really, whatever issue concerns you most, I want to urge and encourage and suggest that you try to focus on health. I raise my hand quickly to say I've struggled with my weight, struggled with my health for a good while. And the more that I talk to the minister of wellness, I become conscious of a need to change my ways. He was doing a speech back in 2018 when he was working with me, when I felt stronger and better than I had in probably 40 years or so. He still said I was one of his most hard-headed clients. And that's something my mom used to call me, was mannish and hard-headed. and he just looked over at me and said, Lord knows I got one of the most hard-headed clients that I've ever had to work with. And the head probably hadn't got much softer, but we're going to keep on trying. I want to introduce the Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel Jordan. Thanks for joining us again today, brother, on the Rock Newman Show 2.0.
Yes, sir. It's always an honor and a pleasure. And for those of you tuning in, you all know what to do. Let's hit that like button. Let's share this very important message on the weaponization of food. And please subscribe to the Rock Newman Show 2.0. So thank you all for the love and support. And thank you all for verifying that you all can hear loud and clear. So it's always an honor to be here with you.
Nate, are you seeing some info where they can hear? Because
they can, yes, sir. Everybody's saying that they can hear very well. So it's
okay. I do want to acknowledge we have some technical difficulties going on, and I am hearing some reverberation, but we'll try to do the best we can here. The subject matter today that we want to examine is the weaponization of food against Black people.
Yes.
So, Nate, I am going to paraphrase what I think a lot of people would say. They would ask, weaponization of food against Black people? What the hell are you talking about? Are you like a conspiracy theorist and coming up with something that Black folks food is being weaponized against the Black community?
Yes.
What you talking about, Willis?
Well, what I'm talking about is that if you look in our communities, you see that we suffer from all the worst health negative the worst comorbidities we suffer from. So if you're talking about diabetes, if you're talking about cancer, if you're talking about heart attack, stroke, autoimmune disease, fibroids, we suffer far worse health disparities. So that is a known fact. It's a known fact that if you go in the Black community and you go to the Black community's Walmart, you're not going to be able to find grapes with the seed in it. But if you go to your Walmart that's in the affluent white community, you will be able to find plenty of grapes with seeds, and they'll have a larger section of organic fruits and vegetables. Your Whole Foods is not going to be in the Black community. Your Trader Joe's is not going to be in the Black community. Even your Aldi's and your other lower budget stores, look at the difference in the Black community versus in the other communities. That's why they call these food deserts. There's actually, and we know that studies have shown that junk food companies, they target Black households more than they target white households. I mean, let's be honest, brothers. So everybody know that if you're Black and you show up to a barbecue with a salad, they gonna ask you why you bringing that white people food here. So we have accepted the weaponization against us because we call a salad, which is lettuce and other vegetables, we call that white people food. If you eat too healthy, they say that you're eating white. So we have accepted the weaponization. So it's clear as day before us. But the thing that when we also go into the molecular and chemical composition of the junk foods that are loaded with these, so the food, real plants are melanated. They're rich in color. The food industry, they take what's real in color and they purposely remove the nourishment from it. And then you have this white stuff, white flour, white sugar. But white sugar and white flour, it demelanates Black people. It strips away the power secreted from our pineal gland. And that's why junk foods and the satanic American diet, that's why it affects us much worse, along with vitamin D deficiency, among other things.
You know, Nate, your explanation of that reminds me something that I think our community too easily accepts. It's cliche, and some people say it almost as a joke, but God damn, the impact of it is devastating. And the saying goes like this: when white folks catch a cold, Black folks catch pneumonia.
Yes.
And within that statement is an acknowledgement of how much more hazard we experience than the majority community.
Yes.
Here in America. So you have in your ministry, in your indefatigable, that means you'll never stop working,
Yes.
approach to try to help Black folks save their lives and to become healthier. Given if those who are listening right now accept that there is a weaponization of food against Black people, what should and can we all do to create a guard against that?
Yeah, I mean, the most ideal thing that we would do is that we would start growing our own food. But we have a war against the Black Farmers Association, and that might be something. I know they definitely need a lot of support with getting their message out, because the head of the Black Farmers Association in America, I forget his name, but he's another one where he's been indefatigable about spreading the message that there is a vicious attack against Black farmers. And he's trying, and that attack hasn't changed from administration to administration. I wish I could remember that brother's name, but we need to support Black farmers. We need to go back to growing our own food. That is the first thing, because that's the healthiest way to eat, is we're supposed to eat from soil to mouth. However, until you get to that point, we have to get rid of our food addiction. They weaponize these foods by making them more addictive than heroin. It's more addictive. You have to treat this stuff like a drug. So they have put drugs in the food to rewire the brain to intentionally build parasites to induce addiction. And they send these foods out and it controls people's brain to where people are willing to sacrifice their life, their children's life, and their family life, and all of their goals just to get a hit of pleasure from the weaponized food. And then, of course, it kills you at the same time. So it's literally the taste that kills. You can't stop eating it, but you know that it's killing you. There's no other type of weapon that we accept like that. That's what makes this. That's why I use the word satanic, because it's not pleasurable to get shot. It's not pleasurable to get thrown on the ground by the police. It's not pleasurable to be in debt. It's not pleasurable to have a relationship despair. These are all forms of weapons that are used to create stress and disease in Black folk. But it is fun and pleasurable to eat a triple Whopper with cheese and the large fries and the soda. That's pleasurable. It's doing more damage than arguing and fighting with your spouse or getting thrown on the ground by the police. But it's pleasurable. And so it's amazing, brother, right? Because it's like it's killing you, but then at the same time, it's like, but doggone it, it tastes it's so good to my brain. It makes me feel good in this temporary moment, and even though I know that it's killing me, and that's what makes it such a powerful weapon.
So I want to come back. I want to come back to food addiction in this discussion. But first, I want to do something. I hope that whenever I stop doing this kind of work, having a platform, that I will be remembered for trying to have as much integrity and character and speaking truth to power as possible. I just hope I'll be remembered that way. And I want to do something. You talked about the triple Whopper, and even when you said that, probably the greatest marketing geniuses are those folks who work at McDonald's, who run McDonald's. I can't help but to remember when I I used to take care of literally a 2-year-old godson. His name was Ibn, and he was he was a child of Dwight Muhammad Qawi, formerly the Camden Buzzsaw, who I worked with for several years, and my wife and I, Didi and I, became his godparent. And when we would drive by wherever we were going, if we drove by those golden arches,
yes,
he would get so extraordinarily triggered. He would, I don't care if we had just had breakfast, lunch, or dinner. He was like, McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. I want to go to McDonald's. I want to go to McDonald's. And look, there have been times when I've seen those golden arches and I pulled through the drive-through also.
Yes.
So when you talk about these people, the scientists, and how they manufacture this food and pollute this food in a way, and it is specifically designed to have an impact on the brain that's as powerful as heroin or some other drug. Would you say that a McDonald's does that? Would you make the claim? And I don't want to get you in any kind of legal trouble, any legal peril, or anything else. But would you make the claim that the McDonald's Corporation, you feel, is guilty of that kind of diabolical approach through their products?
Yes, I do. I am making that claim and I'm making that belief. What I'm saying is that they are participating in what my faith as the minister of wellness will call sorcery. Or that's what I'm saying. I am saying that they intentionally have manipulated food in a way to maximize profits through addiction. They intentionally put ingredients in the food that makes people obese. They intentionally put drugs in the food that destroys sex hormones, that messes with people hormones, destroy the thyroid. I am saying that this is intentional. They don't care. Their goal when they make that food is what chemicals, what drugs can I add to this food to make sure that no matter how intelligent, smart, financially successful this person is, they will become an illogical, insane addict to get the pleasure from this food. So therefore, no one will escape this weapon. You can't escape this weapon. It bypasses all socioeconomic boundaries. However, we're going to make sure that the worst form of this junk is targeted more toward black people, meaning that we're going to kill our own people too, but we're at least going to throw in a Whole Foods. We're at least going to throw in a Trader Joe's. We're at least going to make their Walmarts have more fruits and vegetables. In the black community, we're going to, this weaponized food will be worse. White communities, you'll find schools where their schools have access to more healthier versions of school lunches and so forth. In the black communities, especially in our impoverished black communities, we're going to make sure that the food that don't even fit the qualities of McDonald's, or who I call McDoodoo, you can find them in your local public schools.
I want to do this. I want to take this moment right here and right now that if anyone is watching who is a McDonald's owner, a McDonald's corporate, McDonald's executive, McDonald's the food, if any of you are watching, I want to give you an opportunity to refute what Nathaniel Jordan is saying. I want to give you an opportunity to express your position about this extraordinary claim, because he's making a claim. You heard it. There's no way I can repeat it as succinctly or as intelligently as he did. This is his business. I would say this, that you're taking the liberty, Nathaniel Jordan, to make that claim. Should it be libelous? Should it be defaming? Should it be any of those? It would appear to me that a McDonald's or a Burger King or anyone else that you might be talking about would come after you and challenge you.
They've all, listen, this is something amazing about McDonald's. This is something incredible. There was a lawsuit by two women who went and sued McDonald's for making them fat. And the McDonald lawyers, they won the lawsuit because their defense was that nobody in their right mind should be eating our food not knowing that it will make you fat. You should know that. No one eats fast food believing that this is healthy. They won the lawsuit by making the defense that you should know our food is garbage. You should know it makes you fat. You should know it's addictive. So you don't walk into our McDonald's thinking that you're eating something that's conducive to health. And the judge ruled in their favor and they lost the lawsuit. That you can't sue McDonald's, you can't sue us for your negative health outcomes. You know what you're getting into when you walk inside of our restaurant and eat our slop.
So I'm going to ask you this, okay? So that's from the legal point of view. Now, again, from a legal point of view, McDonald's and Burger King and Chick-fil-A and all the rest of you, in order to stop these kinds of accusations, why don't you come join us and have a debate about the matter? I offer you this platform. And Nathaniel Jordan, should we reach representatives from the fast food industry that express a desire to come on to challenge what you have said? You know, I was getting ready to say I don't want to put you on the spot, but I do want to put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
Would you accept a challenge to be on a show with them and we have a structured debate?
Absolutely. I would love to. Yeah, it's time. It's time. And I hope they accept, Brother Rodney. It's something that, we talked about in private a few days ago. I hope these people accept these challenges. Yes, the minister of wellness, the black health preacher, I am willing and excited to do that. And I pray that it happens, because it's time to have these conversations, and it's time for them to answer hard questions about this stuff, that have 9-year-old girls getting pregnant because they're developing their menstrual cycles at 9. I was just in the gym the other day. As you know, I've been working out two times a day, and I saw a mother come pick up a child from being in the exercise room, and that boy looked like he was no taller than 4 feet, and looked like he was already about 200 pounds. This is a crisis, and they know that it's a crisis. And there's a man that got famous called Super Size Me, and he got famous making a documentary about 20 years ago. He went on an all McDonald's diet for 30 days, and his doctors were telling him that he needed to stop because he was about to kill him. And that was just after 30 days. And it's called Super Size Me. And yet, when I leave and go to the gym, why is there still 2 lines wrapped around the corner at the McDonald's? Why? When we've had documents at any fast food joint, I don't want to just pick on McDonald's, because all of them are equally bad. I mean, the manipulation of these people also, where I used to think that Burger King was healthier, or what Dr. Layla Africa used to call Burping King. I used to think they were healthier than McDukey's because they claimed to grill the burgers. Yeah. And I really thought that was healthier. I don't know if anybody else used to think that. Then, God, let's not even talk about Chick-fil-A. I mean, they have cast a dark spell over people's minds to really think that fried chicken from that tortured, murdered chicken flesh, they really think that that's healthier than eating a beef burger. So,
what did you say? Some kind of flesh?
I call it tortured, murdered chicken flesh.
Yeah.
Because they're torturing these chickens. You're torturing them. I mean, you grew up this way, where you torture them, you kill them. And what are you killing them for? It's for no reason. You're not getting any nourishment from killing it. So it's murder. When you premeditate to kill life, and it's for no redeemable purpose other than to satisfy the lust of a taste, then yes, I'm speaking on behalf of God's creation and saying that that's murder. And then somebody will retaliate in their foolishness and say, well, aren't you murdering the fruit? No, actually, fruits want to be eaten. So no, that don't work with fruits. Fruits want to be eaten. Fruits are designed. Fruits make themselves soft. Fruits make themselves sweet. And fruits make themselves to where if a fruit does not get eaten, it will go rotten. So fruits want us to pick it and eat it. But ain't no animal ain't no chicken or no cow want you to kill it and then to eat its flesh.
So there was someone here in my house recently, very recently. I take my puppies out to play typically 5:30, 6:30 or so, and take them out on a big open field that's fenced in. Well, I don't have to worry about them getting away where I can't get them. And so the party said, um, are you going to that school where, nearby where the Chick-fil-A is? So I said, yeah. Said, well, when on your way back, can you bring me a couple of sandwiches? I said, of the regular Chick-fil-A? They said, yeah. They express in a very admiring tone. They hadn't had anything since breakfast, and so by the time I got back, it was gonna be around 7:30. I was like, "You can eat two of those." I mean, I got a healthy appetite, and have had them. Two is a struggle. Two is a struggle for my greedy self when I have done that. So I said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, can you imagine?" I said, "I don't want to ruin your appetite or anything, but can you imagine the kind of steroids or something artificial that they must inject those chickens with that plump up that Chick-fil-A?" And I know there's a lot of folks listening to us right now who are like, damn, you got to go there? Because, that big debate back a year, 2 years ago, what is best? Chick-fil-A or not Kentucky Fried Chicken, but Popeyes. Chicken sandwich or Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. And I thought, in terms of taste, that Chick-fil-A won that one hands down, almost like with a knockout. Well, other people thought otherwise. So be it. But what must chickens, having grown up in a rural area, and you all may have heard me talk about this before. We raised chickens, we raised pigs, we had livestock, and I would go out in the hen house, the hen in the morning, and get a basket of eggs, just getting the eggs from the hen, and those chickens. Because we would kill them, as you mentioned earlier. I talked about it. One of the almost a damn sport was wringing the chicken's neck, chopping the chicken's head off. And those chickens didn't have breastises, like the ones now. So just for the listener who needs to be shocked into what they're consuming, what's your knowledge, research, or understanding how they make them so big?
Yeah, that they feed them. First of all, they feed them the dead body parts of other animals that has a lot of saturated fat. So if there are pigs that get sick, they'll take the pigs and run them through a grinder, and they'll grind their flesh. So they feed them animal body parts. They genetically modify their genes to create obesogenic genes. They load they feed them a lot of soy, a lot of fattening foods. They feed them junk food, candy, Snickers. Yeah, they feed them a very fattening eating style, and then they don't let them move around and exercise. So most of the chicken that you're eating came from chickens that were obese and died of heart attack, had cancer. They had all sorts of diseases, and then they still kill them and pump them with a bunch of chemicals. And we gobble this stuff down, and we wonder why we have so much violence in this nation. If you want to operate in a true spirit of love, care about God's creation. That's the first step. But when we have been taught to just in such a reckless manner to just torture and murder animals like that, it's a known fact, Brother Rock, that a lot of serial killers a lot of serial killers and mass murderers that, first of all, almost all of them were on some form of psychiatric drugs. That's a whole other topic. But also, they started their practice of murder on animals. So be very careful when you see children who don't mind. I remember Mike Tyson telling a story. He grew up in a viciously violent neighborhood, and he said that how he got in a fight was that someone took a pigeon and ripped the head off. I can't even imagine doing that. I can't, as disgusted as I am by the meat industry, and I can't imagine taking a bird and taking its head and ripping it off. And I'm a Marine. I'm a Marine and police officer, and I can't imagine doing that to an animal. So I just don't understand how, so this is a big deal, and when we eat stuff like that, of course, the extraordinary amount of stress hormones and despair and anxiety that's released from doing that, all of that comes on us. And the simple fact is, you can't eat death and expect life. And here's the thing with Chick-fil-A. We're talking about weaponization against black people. Chick-fil-A, they consider that kind of an uppity place. So you won't even really find Chick-fil-A in the black community. In the black community, they give us Popeye's chicken. And we all know
Kentucky
Popeye chicken, that's just some low grade, greasy.
And Kentucky Fried.
Right, yes, and Kentucky, what I call Kentucky Fried Death Shack, and then I call Popeye's chicken Popeye's chicken. And so we're talking about low grade. We're talking about they don't even give us what they consider to be the higher ends of the chicken. So I don't know if they're treating the chickens worse in the Popeyes and KFC in the black community versus Chick-fil-A. I'd have to do more research, but I wouldn't be surprised. As a matter of fact, I believe years ago you told me that a food industry insider gave you an anonymous tip, but it is facts that like the worst sodas and the worst junk foods that they do put. So
Oh,
even
absolutely. 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 I talked to a major food and beverage distributor, and this gentleman told me that his routing was done in a way and that he was able to track out because he paid attention to it. Now, this was a white gentleman whose parents, we had this discussion too, whose great grandfather owned slaves. I think he had become sensitized and had developed his humanity in a bit of an elevated way. So someone who I had a lot of respect for. And one day in the quietness, we were talking about race relations, racism. And he said, "Rock, let me give you an example." And that the manufacturers involve themselves in the routing, and that the routing in the poorest and especially black neighborhoods, this was in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and those places where he went, where his trucks delivered, the difference between the quality of what he was delivering to the more affluent areas and what he would deliver to, quote unquote, the ghetto was alarmingly different. Now, that is an example of just clearly what is a design.
Yeah.
And my objective in trying to have these kind of conversations is just so that we're more well-informed. Now, I told you I was going to come back to food addiction because I often cite the example of a gentleman. You know who I'm talking about. We won't call his name.
Yes.
who is one of the most successful attorneys in Washington, D.C., managing member of a K Street law firm, who talks about having done a lot of things: drugs, alcohol, all kinds of alcohol, all kinds of drugs, and how his inability, he's got the ability to go past McDonald's on his way home, but so many nights of the week, he will pass it because he knows he shouldn't be going there. But before he gets home, he makes a turn and comes back and either does the Big Mac, the fish sandwich with the fries and all of that. Now, by definition, that is an addiction. And I know it is because I'm going to say unquestionably, I'm a food addict. If in the drug and alcohol world, part of solving your problem is to acknowledge the problem.
Yes.
I know that I'm addicted to foods that I should not be consuming. So my question is, what do we do? How do we put up a defense? How do we try to eliminate the addictions that we have? Because it's real.
It is. You have to be zealous about it. If I told somebody the other day, the American way is to kill people with food. The American way is to experiment on people with drugs that don't work. That is
Which
the
is
way.
capitalism, which is capitalism at its worst. Profit.
Yes.
Make big profits at the expense of killing humans.
Yes. Yeah. Profit from despair. Yeah. Sickness, suffering, death. That's American capitalism. Multi-billion-dollar industry. So powerful that if you start doing like Dr. said, you see what they come after you with viciousness. Why are you coming after me with viciousness when you have a month called Cancer Awareness Month? Is it because you really don't want people healed? You just want to get people screened so you can terrify them in the treatments? Well, the proof is in the pudding that that's what they want to do. And so how do we escape that? Well, most Black men, Black women live, get sick, and die from their chronic disease and suffer terribly. So if you say that you don't want to be like everybody else, you can't do what everybody else do. You can't eat like them. You can't think like them. You can't do what they do. And so therefore, me, the minister of wellness, I don't want to be like everybody else. So I wake up every single day and I study a lot of information about health. I'm infatuated with learning about junk food, learning about other medical technologies that they use. This is my entire life. It's almost as a religion. So what I'm saying is, if you don't have a religion, well, you better make your health your religion, because that's what it's going to take to overcome this mountain. So say your religion is my health. My religion is my health and my self-well-being. And that's the type of fervency that it's going to take for you to defeat this type of monster, because I can't even ride the bike at the YMCA without looking at a junk food commercial on the TV screen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the whole car. I can't leave. I mean, across the street, there's Dookies. I drive a few. I can't even pump gas without the gas station TV. Now that's trying to get me to go inside and grab
TV advertising, radio advertising, and all the rest.
I mean,
so, Brother Minister, if I can personalize this a bit, you have two sons.
Yes.
Their ages are they're
9 and
young,
11.
not 9 and 11 years old. What do you tell them? Because look, they go to school, they go are around kids that I'm sure, have some of the worst diets.
Yes.
What do you say to them? And do they listen? Do they listen? And do they enjoy some of the more healthy options that you try to give them?
Yes, the answer is children, they copy off of their parents, especially father. So fortunately, with me being the minister of wellness and they're able to see and hear me preach, a lot of times that's a huge benefit because sons usually want to mimic their fathers anyway. Now, what's interesting, then of course, we're on a fruitarian eating style, and children naturally eat fruit. They eat according to instincts. And before we destroy our children, their natural instinct is to eat fruit anyway. And so now, since I have them on fruit, they love it. Dates, walnuts, bananas, grapes. They love the fruitarian eating style. Now, what's interesting is that my oldest son, my namesake, he struggles more with staying on the right path, especially when they're with their mother, because he doesn't have any outward conditions at 11 years old. My youngest son, my 9-year-old, he wants to be me. He wants to be a minister of wellness. And then I'll say this here that, I hate to say this, but that drives his mother crazy. But oh well, he wants to be a minister. Well, he says, I want to be like my father. But he's stricter than my 11-year-old. He's more serious, but here's why. He has an autoimmune disease that he's close to reversing. So my youngest son developed bad cataracts in his eyes from juvenile idiopathic, and we have just weaned him off several dangerous drugs. And so my youngest son is very serious. And so even when he's with his mother, he'll tell me if my oldest son, oh, he ate that, ate that, ate that. But me, at most, now he does have a love for bean burgers. So he does a lot of that. But because of his health condition at 9 years old, he is very serious about his health, about eating to live, and he does want to be a minister of wellness. So it's interesting seeing the difference in the two.
You bring up him having a problem with his eye. You said cataracts.
Yes, yes.
So I have a granddaughter. Since we're personalizing things, I have a granddaughter. She'll turn 20 in June. And when she was approximately 12 years old, she was alarmed, and her family and those who love her were alarmed because the doctor that was seeing her for her eye problems said that she had an early onset, I think I'm right on this, an early onset of glaucoma, and that her vision was being clouded. And when to go away to come back in 4 months, 6 months, whichever it was. And they anticipated that they would have to have surgery.
Yes.
A friend of hers in middle school was a vegan, whichever way I said, my wife always tells me it's the other one. You know how y'all are. Black women rock.
Amen.
Let me say that. Let me clean it up and say that. But she met one of her girlfriends was a vegan. The girlfriend told her that her parents said she should try to stop eating meat and stop consuming the things that she was consuming. She did it and was strict about it. This is at 13, certainly no later than 14.
Yeah.
She went back to the doctor, and the doctor, who was so alarmed about her possibly losing her vision, just matter-of-factly saying, we anticipate that we're going to have to do surgery. Found none of what he had found earlier. So, beloved who's out there, you who have a child that has those kinds of issues, hear this message. Please hear this message and not think that there is magic in that freaking medicine that you're being subscribed, but that the magic
Yes,
is in the food that you're consuming.
absolutely. Absolutely. And so, is this a good time to mention the DMV and go over some important announcements? I love health conversations. It always start off thinking you can go short, but it's a eternal conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, we had anticipated, I had anticipated doing somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes today. If I'm looking at this calendar right, we're approaching 46 minutes. But yeah, in Washington, D.C., in the nation's capital, Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wellness, is going to be the keynote speaker March the 18th at the iconic Union Temple Baptist Church. And it is a free event for those in the DMV, DC, Maryland, for anybody that can come. It is a free event. But if you cannot make it, and again, this takes me back to my boxing days and the thing that I used to say if we were doing a fight in Las Vegas or Atlantic City or Madison Square Garden, if you can't be on the scene, you can see it on the screen. There is a live, there will be a live stream of this event on March the 18th, and all of the information and whoever is participating, we are just blessed that to receive the confirmation that Howard University will be participating. They will be offering blood tests for what are they testing, Nate?
They're going to be testing for diabetes, blood pressure, PSA,
Yeah.
obesity. So come on out because those tests are important, family. Come and know your health status so then we can teach you how to heal from those conditions. And tickets are going space is very limited, fam. We already entering into March, have over 200 RSVPs. And let me tell you, we have WHUR as our partner, and you don't want to wait until the 13th where I'm going to be on the Daily Drum for an hour because that's pretty much going to seal the deal.
Right. And oh, yep, Lord have mercy. I don't want to miss, I love everything Howard. And I don't want to miss talking about the fact that WHUR is our media partner. Sean Plater over as a general manager, and Renee Nash, who has been just a fixture at WHUR, and others have really put their shoulder to the wheel with this. We certainly appreciate that. Dr. Roger Mitchell, who's a former coroner in Washington, D.C., and I will go so far as to share a glimpse of a conversation that we had where he talked about having been the medical examiner in Washington, D.C., and just understanding so many of the morbidities and much of it having to do with bad diet and bad social habits. He was excited about this and happy to arrange for the team there to support this. So it's really not. It's not like there is just some minister of wellness guy that's out there talking about eating salad and eating fruit. The industry, to be able to have the support of some of the medical staff from Howard University Hospital is something that puts a stamp on this. That means that it's something important for you to be a part of. So come out. If you can't come out, it will be live streamed. There is a donation of $20. And I thought about that recently, and I was like, $20. The last time I've paid $20 like to go to a concert or to anything it might be of enjoyment. It's been a long time ago. But $20 to hear a message that could quite possibly save your life. Folks, we just really, I don't want this to sound like a commercial. It's just so, I've found it to be so very important. And so you're invited to join us whichever way you can. Come be on the scene at Union Temple Baptist Church, 1225 W Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. Or, Nate, how do they get the live stream?
The ministerofwellness.com, theministerofwellness.com, and that's how you get the live stream, the ministerofwellness.com. So just go to the website and you'll be able to access the live stream and purchase it, and you'll get the link right away. And also, real quick, I am also on my site having to kick off the first 5 days of March. We are having a blowout sale. And so Black March Madness 23, it is running across the screen. We have 100 different products for you. If you need anything, it's half off. And if you need any questions, comments, concerns, or help with the 5-day blowout sale, is just through Sunday. Call 888-847-8026. So we also have that going on also.
Nate, one last thing. So for those of us who have that urge after we've consumed a really nice dinner by 6:30, 7 o'clock, but who have that urge to run down to the local store or wherever and to top it off, with some Haagen-Dazs or some other kind of sweet junk food. And look, it's more than an urge.
Yeah.
It's you just got to have it. You just got to have it.
Yeah.
Got to get that chocolate. Got to get that chocolate in.
Yes.
And see, I ain't talking to y'all out there like it's spooky. I'm talking to some of my struggles, beloved.
Yeah.
When that moment comes tonight, what's the best way to try to counteract that?
The best way to counteract it is to always start your day with a lot of fruit, especially grapes. Always start your day with that. Always start your day, end your day with fruit. You never go wrong. Remember, most Americans never eat fresh fruit or vegetables. So the more fruit and vegetables you eat, you're putting yourself above the curve. Yes, only 2% of all calories in the Satanic American diet is fresh produce. So most people today never eat fruits and vegetables. So simply by starting and ending your day, you can negate a lot of the damage. And then some people, they'll just pop in one of my videos and they say that voice in their ear is enough to motivate them to say, no, I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of people that say they can hear my voice in their head. Don't touch that junk. Don't touch that tortured, murdered flesh. And that helps keep them motivated. So knowledge is power, but do what you can. Start and end your day with fruits, with a lot of fruit.
And that grape soda that I've loved since a child, that don't count.
That don't count. Fruit Loops, grape soda, Twizzlers, lollipops. Yeah. You see how they manipulators, they know we're designed to eat fruit. And so they create fake fruit for us, Laffy Taffies, all of this stuff. It looks like fruit. It's colored like fruit, and they load it with a lot of sugar. So what does that tell you? That tells you that they know that if you want to hook the brain, make it look and sweet, mimic fruit. Weaponization of food.
Folks, this wraps up today's segment of Rock Newman Show 2.0. May I bid you farewell and go in health. God bless you all.
God bless you.